this video, we're going to be taking a look at Crook for the Legacy Collection. He was Build-A-Droid number 57, part of the very last Expanding Universe wave for the Legacy Collection. Another highly sought-after Jedi, and probably one of the favorite ones in most people's collections who own him. So if you're not too familiar with Crook, he's solely in the Expanding Universe. He did show up in the original Clone Wars series in the same episode as the introduction of General Grievous. If you recall that episode, Crook in there was much shorter than he appears to be here. He's a very tall character. In fact, I'll just bring out the comparison figure right here with Teresa. Now she's a kind of a tall character herself, and then as you can see how much taller Crook is, and he's even his knees are bent a little bit. He's not one that can stand on one stand too well, or his footprint is pretty large, I'll say that. And he also showed up in the Star Wars Legacy graphic novel series. He's one of those Jedi that somehow managed to survive the Clone Wars, and then lived on another 100 years after that. Same with Teresa, so they've been around for a while. Outside of Clone Wars and Legacy, I'm not too familiar with Crook. I know he shows up in a couple things here and there. One accessory that's missing from this action figure that Hasbro should have included with him that we often see in some art of him is he's missing his hat that's very similar to like a Vietnamese traditional style hat. That's an accessory that I feel they should have included with this character. There are some customs I have seen on the internet every now and then. It's not too hard to make one. Perhaps I'll do that at some point. And his species is a Whipped, and I think that's part of the reason why he ends up surviving as long as he does. Is turns out he was not really taken out by General Grievous. He ended up there's something about his species where they're able to rejuvenate themselves, and they may appear like they're dead, but they're really not. Something odd about that. That's something I'll have to go back and reread in like Wikipedia or something like that at some point. But still, very interesting character. One of my personal favorite Jedi in my collection, and I think a lot of people that do own him would say the same. So let's just go and take a closer look at this guy. As you can tell, he's very bulky. So for being an alleged good guy, his appearance wouldn't really signal that to you. He looks like something you would see in a horror movie, actually. He has a lot of very nice detailing in his head sculpt there. Hasbro really went all out for this guy. And as far as I know, his tooling is 100% all new. See the waves in his hair there, and they even sculpted some hair going out. There's his beard here. Kind of a similar beard to what we saw on Black Stanton a little bit, where it's tied up at the ends here. He has his tusks there. Does translate to the back. As far as the rest of his sculpting work goes, like I said, his body is entirely unique. As far as I know, this has never been used on any other characters before. See his Jedi ropes here. That's his belt. There's not a hole on his belt where you can put a lightsaber. He doesn't come with an unignited hilt. There's a soft good skirt here. And his legs and his feet, which are very unique. One thing about Crook is he really doesn't have a problem standing on his own. I just kind of keep a stand on him, that way there's no domino effect or anything like that. Very large footprint on him. Let's see what size comparison here. The plastic loincloth here does not continue on into the back. There's that pouch on his belt there. I got this figure brand new, and it still has that crease there from when it was in the package. I'll probably never go away. I ended up getting this guy back in 2017, and I paid less than $100. I'll say that. I forget what the exact amount was. I know it was a pretty good deal though compared to what he usually goes to. In terms of his articulation, he does have a ball joint at the head. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit restricted because of his hair and his beard there, but you can pretty much get him in most of the poses that you're going to want him in anyway, so it's fine. He does have the hinge at the shoulders there, and hinged elbows, swivel wrists, swivel waist, and swivel hips, and then hinged knees and hinged ankles. Weapons and accessories, he's pretty basic. He does have his lightsaber here, which does fit well in his hand. I think that is a unique hill. I mean, it's unique, but there's really not a whole lot to say about it. It's just a very basic design. I don't think this is a hilt that I've ever seen on any other action figure before, so this must be unique to him. There's nice silver paint on it. Unfortunately, the blade is kind of bent for me. It was like that when I bought it. Perhaps I can straighten that out at some point. He does have his rope here, which I'll show off how his hood fits. It's actually not the best. It's really about as close as you can get without doing some modifications. It is easy enough to take off. Well, it is sized to him appropriately. It's not like it's too small or way too oversized or anything like that. So he has some very large hands on him. It's 3 fingers. And just a very impressive character to look at. And it is easy enough to put his robe back on. Just some lint there. I don't think you can really get him to hold his lightsaber with 2 hands, though. Yeah, that's really about as close as you're going to get. And of course, he does come with a Build-A-Droid part for BG-J38 here. And I'm pretty sure he came with the right arm. Some pinchers at the end. Definitely get this guy in some intimidating poses. Let's see here. balanced properly between the stand and his foot on the floor here. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all I can tell you about Croak here. Of course, this is the comparison with Terasa. Both of them end up being very close to one another since they live for so long after the Clone Wars. And they both show up in Legacy together. But anyways, I think that's pretty much all I can tell you about Croak here. So would I recommend them for your collection? I would if you could find them for a good price. And even if you have to pay a little bit more than you're probably comfortable with, I still think he's worth it. He's one of the most unique Jedi that Hasbro's ever made, even to this date. I highly doubt we'll ever get a TVC action figure of him. I really can't see them re-releasing this guy. And if they did, the way things are going these days, they might make him a deluxe just because of his size, and his tooling really can't be reused for anyone else. So we're probably just going to have the one action figure of him, and that's it. I would love for him to be in the TVC line, and if they did, I would hope they would include his hat at least, which is kind of an essential accessory for his character. But I really don't foresee that happening unless he wins like a fan vote and there's enough reception in his favor. But there's just a huge demand for so many other characters that I can't really see Croak getting that high on the list. Prices for this guy, I see him go way up in the hundreds these days. I was just looking at him a little bit ago, and unfortunately it seems like $250 to $300 is the average price for him, which is outrageous. Like I said, I paid less than $100 for this, so I think I got a pretty good deal. If you found him for $50, I think you're getting a good deal for this. Maybe at a local comic book store or something like that, you might be lucky enough to find him for a price like that. So just stay on the lookout for him. At some point you might come across a good price, and just stay vigilant. But price aside, he's a very nice action figure, 10 out of 10, one of Hasbro's best efforts for Jedi. Everything about him is great, the paint is crisp, the accessories are his bare essentials, I guess. But his sculpting work is very unique and something that you should add to your collection. But anyways, that concludes this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for plenty more reviews in the future. There will always be more to come. If you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I would appreciate all your support. And check out the links in the description if you haven't done so already. As always, thanks for watching.